The Wonder Years wasn't just a television show. It was a memory, a reflection of youth and growing up in America. But behind the laughter and nostalgia, many beloved actors from the show have left us too soon. Today, we honor them, the top 10 actors from the Wonder Years who tragically passed away. At number 10, we begin with someone who wasn't part of the main Arnold family, but still left an impression on the Wonder Years. Dustin Diamond appeared in the series as Joey Harris, a small guest role, but outside of the show, he became a household name for another reason, as Screech in Saved by the Bell. For years, Dustin carried the image of the quirky, lovable sidekick. But behind the scenes, life was not so kind. His post-Saved by the Bell years were filled with controversy. Financial struggles, strained relationships with castmates, and brushes with the law. And then, in 2021, tragedy struck. At just 44 years old, Dustin Diamond was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. Within weeks, he was gone. Fans around the world were stunned at how fast it all happened. He was far too young. And his death reminded audiences that the people who make us laugh often carry the heaviest burdens themselves. Though his role in the Wonder Years was brief, Dustin's impact on pop culture was enormous. His passing was a shock, a reminder of how fragile life can be. That was number 10. Every 5 now. Let's continue with number 9. And remember another beloved face from the Wonder Years. At number 9, we remember Stephen Gilborn, the actor who played Mr. Collins, Kevin Arnold's stern but quietly caring math teacher. His role may have only appeared in a few episodes, but it became one of the most unforgettable storylines in the Wonder Years. In the Emmy-winning episode Goodbye, Mr. Under, Collins' sudden passing left Kevin and millions of viewers heartbroken. Outside of the show, Stephen Gilborn was more than just a character actor. He appeared in dozens of popular television series, including Columbo, and The West Wing. He had a knack for playing authority figures, teachers, doctors, professionals, always with a blend of warmth and precision. Audiences may not have always known his name, but they always recognized his face. In real life, tragedy struck in 2009 when Stephen Gilborn passed away from cancer at the age of 72. Just as in the show, his loss felt far too soon. Fans who had grown up watching him as Mr. Collins couldn't help but feel a chilling parallel between fiction and reality. Stephen Gilborn may not have been a leading man, but his presence was undeniable. His legacy is a reminder of how even a single role can touch the hearts of an entire generation. That was number 9. Coming up next, let's move on to number 8 and honor another unforgettable figure from the Wonder Years. At number 8, we look back at Ben Slack, who brought to life the quirky and sometimes cranky neighbor, Mr. Ehrman. He wasn't a central figure in the Wonder Years, but his appearances added a layer of authenticity to Kevin's suburban world. Every neighborhood has that one eccentric adult, and for Kevin and his friends, Mr. Ehrman was exactly that. Outside of the series, Ben Slack was a respected character actor. He appeared in numerous television shows and films throughout the 1972nd, 82nd, and 92nd, often bringing depth and personality to roles that could have easily been overlooked. His talent was in making even the smallest parts memorable. Sadly, Ben Slack's life ended too soon. In 2004, he passed away at the age of 67 from heart failure. His death may not have made front-page news, but for those who knew his work, it was a painful reminder of how many actors quietly leave behind rich legacies. For fans of the Wonder Years, Mr. Ermin remains one of those faces that instantly brings back memories, the kind of character who might have only been on screen briefly, but still felt real. That was number 8. Now, let's move on to number 7. And remember another beloved presence who also had deep roots in Hollywood history. At number 7, we honor Jean Spiegel Howard, who appeared in The Wonder Years as Jane Gustafson, Norma Arnold's mother. Her role was brief, but her warmth and presence resonated, adding another generational layer to the Arnold family story. But Jean's legacy extends far beyond this single show. She was part of a true Hollywood family, the mother of director Ron Howard, and the grandmother of actress Bryce Dallas Howard. Jean Spiegel Howard was a bridge between generations of storytellers. Her life was deeply tied to the industry, and her performances always carried a touch of authenticity and grace. Tragically, Jean Spiegel Howard passed away in 2000 at the age of 73. Due to heart and respiratory illness, her death came just as her family was soaring in Hollywood, Ron already a celebrated director, Bryce beginning her path as an actress. For fans of The Wonder Years, her appearance might have been fleeting, but it was heartfelt. And for Hollywood, her passing was the loss of a matriarch whose influence can still be felt through the careers of her children and grandchildren. That was number 7. If next, let's move on to number 6. And remember a teacher who captured Kevin's heart and left a lasting impression on fans. At number 6, we remember Wendell Meldrum, who played Miss White, Kevin Arnold's English teacher. For Kevin, Miss White was more than just a teacher, she was one of his first crushes. Her gentle presence, soft voice, and encouragement made her an unforgettable part of Kevin's journey through adolescence. In later episodes, she returned as Mrs. Heimer, adding another layer to the continuity of Kevin's school life. Beyond The Wonder Years, Wendell Meldrum built a solid career in television and film. Many fans also recognize her as the famous low talker in Seinfeld, a role that became iconic in its own right. She had a gift for creating characters who felt authentic, nuanced, and memorable, no matter how large or small the role. Sadly, Wendell Meldrum passed away in 2021 at the age of 66, after a short illness. Her death was a quiet shock to fans who remembered her warmth on screen. For audiences who grew up watching Kevin stumble awkwardly through adolescence, Miss White was the teacher everyone wished they had. Wendell Meldrum's legacy is one of subtlety, kindness, and grace, qualities that made her unforgettable. That was number 6. Now we move into the top 5, starting with a familiar and beloved family figure from the Arnolds. At number 5, we honor David Huddleston, who appeared as Grandpa Arnold, Jack Arnold's father. His character brought warmth, humor, and the kind of no-nonsense wisdom that perfectly captured what it meant to grow up with strong family roots. For Kevin, Grandpa Arnold was a figure of tradition, a reminder that family ties ran deep. Outside of The Wonder Years, David Huddleston had a long and celebrated career. He starred in dozens of films and television shows, most notably as the title character in The Big Lebowski and as Santa Claus in Santa Claus the Movie. His booming voice and commanding presence made him a recognizable figure, even for audiences who couldn't always place his name. Sadly, David Huddleston passed away in 2016 at the age of 85, from heart and kidney disease. His loss was felt deeply across Hollywood, as colleagues and fans remembered not just his performances, but his kindness off-screen. For the Wonder Years fans, Grandpa Arnold remains an enduring part of the show's magic. His presence added depth and authenticity to the Arnold family story. That was number 5. Anyway, Hafta did. Coming up next, let's move on to number 4. where we remember a guest star who gave one of the most powerful performances in the entire series. At number 4, we remember Maxine Stewart, who played Mrs. Carples, Kevin's piano teacher in the unforgettable episode Coda. It was only a single appearance, but it became one of the most powerful guest performances in the entire series. In that episode, Mrs. Carples pushed Kevin to practice, to reach for something greater than mediocrity. She represented every teacher who sees potential in a student, even when that student doesn't see it in themselves. The role struck such a chord that Maxine Stewart received an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Guest Actress. Outside of the Wonder Years, Maxine Stewart enjoyed a long career spanning film and television, with roles in The Twilight Zone, Judging Amy, and many more. She was known for her versatility and her ability to bring dignity and nuance to every part she played. Maxine Stewart passed away in 2013 at the age of 94, from natural causes. She left behind a legacy of decades in the industry. And for the Wonder Years fans, she will always be remembered as the teacher who believed in Kevin Arnold's potential. That was number 4. Now, let's move into the top 3. Beginning with a familiar face from pop culture whose story ended far too soon. At number 3, we remember Dustin Diamond, best known to the world as Screech from Saved by the Bell. But long before his fame as a sitcom star, Dustin appeared in The Wonder Years in 2 small guest roles, first as Joey Harris in the episode Lucyers, and later as Joey Lapman in the Glee Club. I will consue not a sprach. Though his time on the show was brief, his career quickly skyrocketed with Saved by the Bell, where he became a pop culture icon of the 1992nd. For years, Dustin was the quirky, lovable sidekick that millions of fans grew up watching. But behind the smile and comedy, life told a harsher story. After the end of Saved by the Bell, Dustin struggled to find his footing. He faced financial problems, strained relationships with his former castmates, and even legal troubles that tarnished his reputation. Still, fans remembered the joy he had once brought them. In January 2021, tragedy struck. At only 44 years old, Dustin Diamond was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. Just weeks later, he passed away. The speed of his illness shocked the world. He was far too young, and his death became a painful reminder that the people who make us laugh often carry the heaviest burdens. That was number 3. In After Side, coming up next. Let's move on to number 2. And remember an actor whose tough guy roles on screen masked a tragic and painful real-life ending. At number 2, we remember Paul Gleason, who guest starred in The Wonder Years as Arthur Jensen in the memorable episode Scenes from a Wedding. His presence brought authority and gravitas to the storyline, just as he had done in countless other roles throughout his career. But Paul Gleason was already well known to audiences long before his appearance on The Wonder Years. He cemented his place in pop culture history as the strict, no-nonsense Principal Richard Vernon in The Breakfast Club, 1985, and as Deputy Chief Dwayne T. Robinson in Die Hard, 1988. He had a gift for portraying tough authority figures men you loved to hate, but couldn't forget, behind the screen. However, life delivered a cruel twist. In 2006, Paul Gleason was diagnosed with mesothelioma, a rare form of lung cancer caused by asbestos exposure. It was reported that he had been exposed while working construction jobs with his father years before his acting career began. He passed away later that year, at just 67 years old. His death was a heartbreaking reminder that sometimes the most iconic performers, the ones who make us laugh, fear, or reflect, are themselves victims of circumstances beyond their control. That was number 2. And finally, we arrive at number 1. The most poignant and heartbreaking story connected to the Wonder Years. At number 1, we honor Stephen Gilborn, who gave us one of the most unforgettable and emotional storylines in the Wonder Years. He played Mr. Collins, Kevin Arnold's stern but deeply caring math teacher. In the Emmy-winning episode, Goodbye, Kevin clashes with Mr. Collins, only to learn that his teacher has suddenly passed away. The storyline left fans devastated, showing Kevin and all of us the pain of losing a mentor before we get the chance to say thank you. How is the spray? What made it even more heartbreaking is how life imitated art. In real life, Stephen Gilborn himself passed away from cancer in 2009. At the age of 72, the parallels between his character's sudden death on the show and his own fate in reality struck fans deeply. It felt as if we had lost Mr. Collins all over again. Beyond the Wonder Years, Gilborn had a prolific career in television, appearing in Columbo, The West Wing, and dozens of other series. He often played doctors, professors, and mentors, roles that reflected his calm authority and intellectual presence. His passing was not just the loss of a talented actor, but also the loss of the very man who embodied the lessons of growth, discipline, and compassion that the Wonder Years was built on. That was number 1. 10 actors, 10 stories. Each of them contributed to the legacy of the Wonder Years. And though they're gone, their memories live on in every rewatch, every quote, and every fan who still feels their impact today. Closing. These were the top 10 beloved actors from the Wonder Years who left us too soon. Which of these characters do you remember most? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more celebrity stories, the rise, the fall, and everything in between. I hope side.